Delicate getting the first pick. Get 3, Pyro, get 3 with the
Wade Kid's putting on a clinic. Whole team's down. Oh!
Experience tranquility.
Welcome everyone to another night of Tranquility Overwatch. Today it will be Transcendence tier Overwatch here between D.I.R.T and Amnesia. One of these teams, very well recognized if you watched it all last season and before that as well, made it pretty far into those playoffs and those semifinals. And Amnesia, a new face on the block. Neither of these teams did play in preseason, but does come from the mind of Capital, a very well-known member of the community. He will not be here tonight. I believe he is being filled in by Declan, but I am Worscast, going to be joined here by Thistle, amazing analyst here. Of course, we do have Booth on that production, so big shout outs to him as well. But Thistle, I mean, coming in right now, we do have a really nice night of Transcendence tier Overwatch, and what can you kind of expect from these two teams?
Now, the first map that we have rolling out is Ilios. That is what we've got up right now. To be honest, with the map bans that or with the bans that we've been seeing in Pro League, there's been a lot of variation in the comps that have been being run. But here, I'm expecting to see something pretty simple. We've got some pretty high tier Overwatch here in the Masters bracket of things. If you are not familiar with the way that Tranquility organizes their games, these are two very high up teams that know exactly what they're doing. They're put to be probably the top two teams in their group, and I expect to see some very clean plays and very few mistakes from both of these teams. I'm maybe looking for a dive. Some kind of half brawl could also work pretty well. So really, it's just up to what these teams are comfortable with, because they can make a lot work here.
Yeah, and I mean, looking at these two teams, they may not have played in preseason, but you definitely have some expectations coming in here, at the very least for D.I.R.T. Last season, in Season 6, they did make it pretty deep into those playoffs, into that semi-finals of their side of the bracket, unfortunately losing to Tempest, who went on to lose to God Hands, who ended up taking it all. But again, still making it into that semifinals, being a very strong competitor throughout the entire season. A lot of people had them up in the upper echelon of Transcendence tier teams last season, and I expect nothing to really change this season either. Roster, pretty similar. There are some changes here and there, some new names, but no, I still have a similar expectation for them. Well as Amnesia, while the branding is new, they do have kind of some very big names as well. Cry, very well known flex support, and of course Capital's on that team, like I said, but he will be. It's actually Declan filling in for him, who's normally, I believe, the DPS player. So it'll be interesting to see how that ends up. But right now, I mean, again, you have a lot of names, and I'm not going to go over through every name, but still, both of these teams have expectations for them, even if we haven't seen them yet this season.
Exactly. And the biggest thing that I'm going to be looking for here is cool, calm, collected utilization of resources. It's something that a lot of teams struggle with, even in the upper echelons of play, even in Overwatch League. Being able to use your resources properly and being able to keep a good economy when it comes to your ultimates, your wider, bigger idea resources versus your smaller in the moment resources. That's something that's very difficult. So since these guys are so highly regarded and so talented, I'm going to be looking to see how well they handle delegation of resources.
Yeah, and right now, from what we can see right here, it's gonna be that 6-man, the composition name for this kind of this ball composition that utilizes that Monkey Diva as well as that Reaper and Sombra to kind of just roll over the opposition in a it's very rush style. People think like, oh, Monkey dive. No, he's gonna be playing a lot like that Reinhardt in front of your face, using that shield to take that space.
Right.
The Sombra and Reaper are trying to deny that from him right now. Did a pretty good job so far, but Mag is pretty low on the backside.
Now, the number one thing I'm looking at here is an absolute annihilation from the Sombra. The difference in ult charge is huge, as we see Ixia is going to be building up the EMP way faster.
Yeah, and Dirt managing that first pick. They've lost Cry. There's no more speed available there. And now they're just kind of taking the rest of this point away. The Monkey is soon to follow. Not able to kite. They're going to be investing this Coalescence just to make sure. They lose their main tank late, but that optics is already dead. So shouldn't make too much of a difference here. Just to cap up that point. I don't know really who's contesting that just yet. Seems to have maybe been that Moira. As they get cleaned up now with percentage ticking up here for Dirt.
An early Coalescence here from George Lopez really secured the point at the very end of that fight, putting nails in the coffin there. It's just going to be very hard to compete with their Moira ult. EMP comes in.
That's 6 people. 6 people without their abilities is not very conducive to winning a team fight right there, and it shows. Investing both DPS ults, though, that's not like the greatest investment in the world, but it is something nonetheless. Usually just that AMP is enough, but trying to secure just a little bit more.
You'll notice with how fast that fight went and how many ults they've invested so far, the economy has swung so heavily towards the favor of the other team here. It's just not something that they're going to be looking for.
Yeah, but interestingly, no beat is available for Cry, but it hasn't deterred them just yet. They do manage to push in, and no ults are going to be invested here for the side of Dirt. They're just kind of giving over this fight so far. The hack on Lucio, meaning no late beat to be maybe even wasted in some opinions. I think that's a little bit better. Maybe don't get a little bit antsy, press that Q button, but yeah, they kind of just, they lose the first pick, and they kind of just back out there.
A good, quick, clean swap there from Amnesia. After the 60% ticked up from the side of Dirt, they had to give up the point. 5 ultimates, though, for Amnesia on the board. Here comes EMP, hits 5.
That's 5 in the similar, we just saw this combo actually executed by Dirt, not just even like 2 minutes ago, so giving them a little taste of their own medicine. 5 instead of 6, but nonetheless still the team fight goes their way, and now 30% and counting, trying to catch up to that standard set by Dirt.
Sombra there trying to get a little bit more ult charge. Ixia looking to get that EMP before the next fight starts. A solid ult economy in the favor of Dirt after that bomb is used there by Train, not really finding much. Here comes the engage.
Could see a defensive EMP come out just shortly, but don't even really need it as Omega finds the kill on Declan, a little bit out of position there with no fade, and Reaper obviously in that close to medium range can just eat that Moira alive. Now you're gonna see Omega pushing forward with this beat. Again, it's kind of just they're gonna just let this happen. The ults were committed early in the fight, no reason to commit that beat late, and now, I mean, Dirt still has a massive ult advantage.
Yeah, both teams investing a decent amount of ults there. We've got both the Death Blossom and the Sound Barrier from the side of Dirt. But if you look over to Amnesia, they seem to have forgotten where their economies went because they have almost nothing to help them here. Both support ults will be online, but that's about all they have, unless both DPS can build their ults before this fight.
Now looking towards Ixia with that EMP, only catches 2, does not catch Cry, crucially enough, has that beat to put that on the floor. But even though that dead optic's still gonna go down, they've lost their Monkey, and the primal here from Dad is gonna be massive. The bomb finds Dragon. Oh, so much pressure is just gone, but there's 92%. It's gonna have to be on Magnifying a massive EMP here trying to even up this fight. That's 6 people, all without their abilities, but can they find a pick? He has to go to the point with a translocator. He finds it just in time, but Dirt is still winning the fight. Even with 6-man EMP, even if they can't use their abilities, they still, just with their primary fires, it's enough to keep them in that fight. There's just not enough follow-up, no ults available, but here we have Dragon trying, but a really nice translocator keeps them out. Now Ixia has the EMP of their own. This baby diva left without anything to save them, and was along with Cry, and that should be the first round going over the way of Dirt. Really nice play in that mirror here, and really looking up to them in this series.
it kind of fell apart and got pretty sloppy towards the end there for both sides. But D.I.R.T seemed to thrive and keep the ult economy ahead, keep themselves going, and make sure that they did come out on top. A very good display from both sides, but D.I.R.T heavy-handedly there kept it grounded. It's not something that you see every day where someone can keep a fight in a messy territory and still look like they have control. That's a really evident move from some teams like the Shanghai Dragons that are super thriving in this kind of meta that we've got going on right now, where it's kind of a controlled chaos type deal. And a similar composition coming out from Amnesia with the Winston Diva, but a swap over to the Wrecking Ball from D.I.R.T will keep things a little interesting, swapping it up.
Yeah, kind of wanted to go more towards that Nano Monkey. I'm almost surprised that Dragon doesn't pull out the Echo here, but I guess don't want to pull that off. You're gonna have this kind of this Wrecking Ball composition with that Sombra Tracer, been really popular, and something that actually kind of struggled against was more of a really nice shot there. Omega Dragon just shuts down the flank, but and George Lopez, she fires back. They're gone now, but this fight, George Lopez finding two. She's kind of going crazy. Yeah, she's kind of going crazy with this right now. The Discord find the monkey as well. Completely. Oh my, another headshot coming out here from George. The flip does go over the way of Amnesia first, though, but when somebody picks out from you Zenyatta, when your Zenyatta does that much damage in a team fight, you just kind of know you're going to be in a really good spot. But I was going to say, like, Sombra Tracer kind of struggled into this, like, Echo composition at times, where, like, you couldn't really contest it.
George coming in with the sharpshooter meta here, reinventing the wheel that is the kill feed. All red. Perfect accuracy, and really just a beautiful play from Zenyatta. You need to expect the best from a Zenyatta player when you're facing off against a Brig and an Ana. It's super difficult to keep your quality at as high of a level as what Brig and Ana can produce, and right now, George Lopez has left me with no doubts.
Yeah, and a really nice spot there from Dad. He finds a slam onto the Ana. I was gonna say, if 6 people walk through that choke with that Wrecking Ball sitting right above it, I could easily see them getting 50% ultimate charge off that one slam. Like, you get a lot of ult charge very quickly. As right now, I mean, that first pick, you've lost your Ana, you can't really do much. You don't have any space to push because you lack so much of that healing. And now it's just gonna be Ixia just looking for that EMP. I do find that, and I mean, this does not look very winnable here for Amnesia next fight. I mean, there's some really key ultimates, but Dragon tries to say something about that.
That is a big pick. That's exactly what they needed to find. Here's the rally.
Rally comes out, Mag trying to force out Ixia, didn't have the translocator, could have taken him out, but Dragon finishes the deal. That's 2 picks on the DPS here for Dragon, and they're definitely pulling their weight here on this McCree. A nice swap off that Ashe. They need that flashbang to contest those squishy flankers, and exactly they found that. Dad goes down the Transcendence just a moment too late, and a nice anti-nade onto that point means that Transcendence is basically useless. Omega stunned up by that Brig as well. I mean, Jax finds 2, Jax finds 3, Jack finds 3!
Oh my God.
Diva carried the EMP onto this point, doesn't find the monkey somehow. I assume they were in the bubble, but they still have that nano push forward. George Lopez is gone, and this fight, I mean, seems to be going the way of Amnesia, but this hack late does put Dead Optics back into the spawn room, and Mag looking for the stick, trying to save this fight, cannot save it. They're on this point now, they have that rally, they have the Inspirer going. Dragon's trying something, but he's going solo. Nice damn keeping alive just now. Omega back from that little blunder there earlier with that pulse bomb. Dies the Cry once again, though. The Cry in that corner should be going down closely as well. And, I mean, this fight is going on for a while, but it should be, I don't want to curse it, but it should be in D.I.R.T's favor.
Really, there's a lot of forces going back and forth. People throwing bodies onto the point, trying to keep the hopes alive for them. Almost ruining the Tracer's day with a long walk off a short cliff here. The timer will tick down, and we will have D.I.R.T as the champion of this first map.
I mean, Jack just kind of popped off there. I mean, that fight basically lost on point. Jack, I assume, finds the bomb because the Winston bubble goes down, and then, I mean, once that Winston bubble goes down, no one is safe from that bomb, and then finding the remake kill. We see it right here, actually. The Tracer blinks into it! No, you can't blink. Oh, okay. That did not respect the crunch. Did not respect the crunch in the slightest. Blink straight into it. Loses their life and ends up losing the point possibly because of that. Also got a lot of damage onto that Winston as well. Really big plays there from Jack on that off tank, and of course George Lopez on that Zenyatta. So both of these kind of positions that people don't think of like carry positions, but did a lot of work that round.
That was a really well-placed Diva Bomb, to be honest. I'm not sure whether it was on purpose or not, but I'm going to give benefit of the doubt. Jack, huge brain there in order to keep that up. What they did, for whoever didn't see it, was they kept the Diva Bomb thrusting straight into the corner of a wall, so that while it was thrusting into the corner, it could have gone either way. If there was slight torsion on either side, it would have just zipped straight past the wall on either side. But since it was perfectly center, everyone was left on the edge of their seats wondering, oh Lord, what side do I run to? What side is safe? And it turns out neither of them. Neither of them were safe, and just a beautifully placed bomb from Jack will definitively put Amnesia in the dirt.
Yeah, and I mean, just really nice job, and I think those parts of that were definitely winnable for Amnesia, right?
Mm-hmm.
Definitely moments in both those maps that could have turned it in their favor.
Absolutely.
But Dirt just had a little bit more of that X factor with those with that Zenyatta and that Diva play, so that ends up netting them the map victory. But looking forward, we do have Volskaya. But before that, if you didn't know, we have another command you guys can use out, and it's actually very useful for you guys. Exclamation point shop, store, not shop, store. Put that in the chat, and you have a link to our store where everything is 20% off, I am told. And honestly, I'm going to cut myself something later as well. So
I might actually.
I would use that 20% while it's here. It's not something you have all the time. So definitely some great merch over there. Nice something to spruce up your closet. I know I need that. Going off to college soon. Need to flex some Trank merch. Never a wrong time to flex some Trank merch. So definitely do that. Exclamation point store in the chat. And yeah, really worthwhile use of just looking around, see what piques your interest. And of course, remember, 20% off is nothing to be ashamed of. But again, next map, Volskaya Industries. And again, I mean, that last map, we did see the mirror the first round, and then of course, right over that, right after that, we had a kind of a different style with that Wrecking Ball versus that Nano Winston composition. So interesting to see what happens on Volskaya here.
Absolutely. And Volskaya is one of those maps that can allow for any kind of play that you really want. If you desperately want to put forward either a bunker play, some kind of double shield play, some kind, really anything, you can put it forward in Volskaya. It's difficult in certain metas, and it's more difficult against certain compositions. But if we're good enough at any comp, you can make it work. And that's one of the wonderful things about Volskaya here.
Yeah, and something interesting. I don't know particularly the flexibility on these teams. The last times I casted Dirt and a lot of the players on Amnesia was very different meta, right? So I don't know. I don't know what the variety of metas these teams are willing to play. We did not see them in preseason either. But a bunker type composition, definitely something. Hey, there we go. A little bit of a faster bunker composition because it has that Diva instead of like a Sigma or something of that nature. It's a little bit faster. The Diva allows a little more activity. But again, both these teams kind of showing off. They want that control. Control very well known, especially Ilios, for that more divey style of play. And of course, you go to Volskaya, 2 CP maps in general favor those more stagnant compositions on that defense, especially. So going to be seeing that right now, but interesting enough, I'm looking at specifically this difference in supports between that Brig and that Mercy, and how those kind of interact with those DPS lineups.
Definitely, and so really, what the Mercy does is it allows your DPS to perform at a higher caliber versus the Brig and the Baptiste. It definitely gives you that bone composition, gives you the survivability. It buffs up your tanks a lot, and it buffs up your fellow supports. Whereas it appears though that this composition that is being run by Dirt is very good at buffing up the
swap. Yeah,
it's very good at buffing up the exact opposite. It's very good at buffing up DPS, and that's something I'm going to be looking for. I'm going to be looking to see Ixia and Omega pop off this game, because that's really what they need. The tanks have swapped up for the side of Amnesia, and they are running a double bubble dive, which is super interesting. But it has definitely taken a significant chunk of time off of their clock.
Yeah, the classic, we roll out, we see what they're running, and then we instantly swap. You said you wanted to see Omega popping off. There's your first little hint of it. finds the tag up onto Dragon as well, has to run to cover, looking for this Tracer. Doesn't quite find it just yet. Oh, the one tag looking, gets that health pack, but still one arrow could kill it to the body. A little bit under 130 there, I believe, on that Tracer. And now Train having to back up, get that healing. Again, you're looking towards these snipers to pick the enemies in rotation, and Omega does just that. Looks like Dad was looking for maybe the Tracer there. Doesn't quite find it, but again, this composition here for Amnesia is just going to be all about cycling those ultimates onto their tanks. But will they even get the chance with Omega on the loose?
Omega is definitely going to have to dip out there real quick. Have to use the leap. Winston's also leaped out. Really, the strategy here, as with most guys...
No! Mag! No!
That's a huge throw. Both DPS are down. At least it's from the attacking side, though.
Mag! And Cry is gone!
Oh my god, dude.
You know, Omega's just terrifying aura. You know, it just muddles your judgment sometimes. Another headshot going down onto that Zarya. Omega's a little bit on a tear here. This is not not great. I mean, it's taking you 2 minutes to set up here. You have your Ana ultimate. You swap off the Tracer onto that Genji. It does offer a little bit more of that front up against the snipers, but again, I mean, you only have Nano here. It's gonna go on that Winston for sure, but
absolutely. That is the goal with every single dive comp that I've ever played, ever seen, ever cast. You have to build up that Ana Nano boost and put it on the Winston before you engage. That is the only way really you're gonna hardcore engage with a win. That's the way it's gonna go. And Mag dropped very low there.
I mean, and look, I mean, Dragon peeks their head for a moment and they're gone. You're gonna try to see here, the Nano does come out, but Dead is already at 175 and now down to 0. The Bongo does a great, I mean, he burns his bubble on that point chasing someone, and then they just pop the Bongo, you get the Nano, and yeah, you have that damage reduction, but they have the damage buff, and now there's just nothing you can do. The Ashe as well, finding the advantage with that Bob, and that comes down to you only had that Nano available here. In 3 minutes, you only built up that Nano. The Nano lets you do a Primal, but you still don't have DPS ults. You're so slow on that grab.
Dead Optics has now been forced to pop the Primal, and he's already at 50 HP. He's dead before he's even hit the ground.
He's gone. Bye. Oh, he lives!
He barely lives here.
Yeah, I mean, that's a lot of Nano charge, right? That's a lot of Nano charge.
Yeah, that's true. They could raid boss this. They could all else fails raid boss.
Yeah, you're gonna get 2 Nanos probably before you even hit Graviton. Isn't great. Not what you really want. Ixia surviving there, doesn't go off the edge. And now the Ana fighting for themselves. The Genji doesn't have that deflect, is extremely low, and George Lopez will be the one to find the kill. The sniper set up on this other high ground. George Lopez does have their own Nano onto that Diva, sectioning them off here. Now, Train, given the opportunity to farm that grab, I mean, you just have to throw it out, but you can't really do anything. You can't even touch the point.
It's only $10, man. It's only $10 to change your name from Omega to Alpha. You gotta stop misleading people. It's not fair. It's not fair to tell people that you're an Omega and then perform like that. That's just not how. That's not how society expects you to behave.
Yeah.
You gotta give people warning.
Okay, so obviously did not get a single tick there. Is going to be at best a draw here for Amnesia, but I mean it is 2CP. I mean I could see a similar thing occurring on the defense here, but it would have to rely on D.I.R.T playing a very similar slow composition and style, which they aren't going to do. I'm looking at there is not slow in the slightest. They're going to be on them at all times, and of course they also have a win condition in that EMP, right? So eventually, hopefully you get the EMP. I mean, never say never. I mean, yes, you could shut down the Sombra super hard and they never build EMP, but I highly doubt it. Ixia, a very competent Sombra player, is going to know where to get in to get that farm and when they're getting shut down, if they need to switch or if they need to keep going. So I don't expect that to be a roadblock for them, but
I know George Lopez was seriously hitting shots and redefining the what we know to be as the sharpshooter Zen, but I don't know if she alone is going to be enough to deal with this Pharah Mercy. In fact, I'm almost certain that they're not. Pharah Mercy at this level are going to play super safe, and it's going to be almost impossible to dislodge them.
So then it kind of comes into the idea of like, okay, so we can't directly take out the Pharaoh or dislodge them in a lot of ways. I mean, the best bet is you throw that Discord on top of them and then have Jack run up there. Jack did just that, ran up after the Mercy that time as well. But you're actually looking for that engage in that back line with those flankers and that ball. Ball goes a little bit disconnected there. Could have possibly waited for that Tracer in the summit. There they are, but ooh, Dragon hit a similar shot on Ilios. Is doing it just again, trying to show off their muscles, flex their DPS muscles there. But again, you have the lamp forced out, and now it's just going to be this ball here, just going to be running around. Off the edge apparently, but you still have that ult charge coming in here. George Lopez actually has the highest ult charge on their team. But then it's the right clicks. Yeah.
It's impressive to see Zenyatta be the first person to build their ult. So we know that George Lopez is still out here hitting shots and taking some names, but we're gonna need something a little more impressive than that if D.I.R.T wants to push all the way through. Excuse me.
Yeah, so I'm seeing this ball. They're going in a lot, a little bit too early. They don't have that backup from their Sombra, from their Tracer just yet. So the thing is, you want to do with that ball, you want to go in when your flankers are going in because you're buying space and time for those flankers. When you're just going in by yourself, you're getting shot for free. You're not buying anything for those flankers. You're just getting. I mean, you're just walking up to this Ashe. Your flankers on the other side getting pressured out by a Pharah. You aren't really able to do anything.
Yeah, the Tracer is trying to deal with Pharah theirself. It's just not working out well.
Okay, there's the Discord onto the Mercy though.
Big first pick.
Yeah, we're relying on that D.Va to go with that Nana with the Discord. Declan doesn't have that lamp, or maybe a little bit too slow on that lamp. Can't quite get it out, but Mag tried to do something there, but ends up losing their own life. Maybe there was maybe D.Va Mac. I think they just threw D.Va Mac into it, maybe. I don't quite know, but that's the point is going to get cleaned up here, and now you have a Sombra set up on this point with DPS to follow, and took them a little bit. Took them 2 minutes and 30 seconds, but they do manage to break that point open after a little bit of kind of, you know, a little bit of like downtime, it felt like, where not much was happening. But then explosive. It's really explosive when they just pick that Mercy and just go button.
Yeah, that was really just a fantastic job there towards the end. What a phenomenal display from Omega, that map. Really, between Hanzo at the very beginning finding a lot of all really good picks, and then eventually playing the Tracer and getting that double with the Pulse. That is how you play. That is how you play Overwatch. That's how you play DPS, to be honest. That's just a really good job.
Yeah, and I mean, it kind of feels bad because they took a minute basically to swap their composition there for Amnesia in the beginning. They roll out on that Arista comp. They see that the enemy is mirroring the Arista comp. They're like, okay, we don't want to run this as a mirror here. We think we're not as comfortable with it. Let's swap over to this double bubble. We know we can kind of rotate our resources onto that Winston, get that Nano, get that rolling. But Omega never let them set up. First person to go down on the team, Ana. No Nano charge accumulated there. Second, they just kind of, again, they just kept losing people to those snipers. They weren't kind of respecting those angles. And then when you can't get your ult charge set up, I mean, it was like last fight, or like 1 minute left, they had one ult on their entire team. They had one ult in 3 minutes.
Yeah,
and that's not good. That's not good.
It was very difficult, and honestly, Amnesia has not been playing to the caliber that we want to see. I have no doubt in my mind that they can turn this around and get something done after the second half, because right now they've seen what the strong suits are for D.I.R.T, and they're going to be able to pick that up. They're going to be able to do something with it eventually. The main issue right now is just taking a minute to breathe and figuring it out and applying it to their second half.
Yeah, and again, we're going into this halftime right here. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back into the second half of this game to see if Amnesia can pull this back, or will D.I.R.T continue. Just a moment here.
きないですね。
Welcome back, everybody. We're back here with D.I.R.T versus Amnesia. D.I.R.T up 2-0 in a very dominant fashion, especially on that Volskaya, but Amnesia not out of it just yet. And of course, we do play all 4 of those maps, even if there is that 3-0, like in Overwatch League Season 2, that go to 4 kind of style. Like you play out those 4 maps. Every map matters. Hashtag every map matters. That was a whole big thing. But I mean, what can you do here if you're Amnesia to come back in this? You know, what are you looking towards to not let this be like such a stomp?
Well, over the break when we were talking, you, Booth, and myself were talking. We think that one of the biggest issues for Amnesia may be that Cap was a big shot caller, big person when it came to pathing. Maybe Capital, who was pretty much the backbone of the team and a support player, was probably their shot caller, their pathing caller, and gave them a bit of confidence. And now that he's not here, that may have rocked them a little bit. But aside from that, they need to play more confidently. They need to know that D.I.R.T is mortal. If they can take something off of them, if they can cap first point Numbani, I think that they have a solid chance. It's more of a case of they need to know that they can be wounded, I think, than anything else. Because I know they know it, but they need to feel it. They need to feel like they can actually win, because their confidence seems to be a little shaky right now.
Yeah, and I mean, that's bound to happen after that first point on Volskaya. It was kind of a perfect storm for them to kind of have that kind of an offense where you start the round off down a minute, you lose your Ana first fight. I mean, that's another basically 30 seconds gone with how slow Ana is. And then we have that unfortunate incident with Magpolar and the water that will not be gone into more detail, but that was also an unfortunate incident followed again by Omega doing Omega things. So when you have that kind of like a start to a round, it kind of becomes this perfect storm of like mentally draining in that sort of way. But we're gonna see if they can reset it here on Numbani. Another map, different map type. Gonna be hybrid here, and we're gonna see what they can do. Again, similar compositions, except it's gonna be Amnesia wanting to run potentially this Orisa composition on the offense. They were adverse to it last round, but maybe they've swapped that idea around.
I think that they're wanting to give it a try because it's something new. They want to insert something, especially with this Pharah, that will work in a way that they saw work for D.I.R.T possibly. So I think that this could be really good for them, in all honesty, this double-pronged attack.
And right now it's going to be Magpolar getting a lot of that damage down. They're going to be splitting away, but Omega, you gotta watch out. He goes low. He's going to get the healing very shortly, I assume. And it's really going to be just Dad jumping up there, getting that healing for George Lopez so that she can get her nano up faster and faster with Dad. Gonna go low, but again, just pulling close to the nano. Once that nano engage comes out, Omega goes down though. You do have that res available, but you can only choose one, and they don't even know if they'll get it off at all, but they do get it off. But Ixia trading back, that's the Mercy down for this Pharah. Now a bunch more Immortal, but Declan is behind this wall and just so secure. That window's just available there. Dragon's just gonna be uncontested here for the most part. So yeah, but Ixia takes him out. The damage was really nice there from that Mercy. But Train's gonna be stopping this. I mean, the ult now coming out though. This is a really nice recontest here.
It's recontestable. Absolutely. The kills come through, mostly from Ixia and the nano-boosted Winston on the side of D.I.R.T. Phenomenal re-engage there as they completely regrouped and got ready for that re-engage. Clashing at the same time like a tidal wave, bringing their ults forward. They ended up using 2 there, and now we will see the ult economy sway slightly in favor of Amnesia as they come for the second attack. 2 ticks of permanent progress laid onto that dial. So we've got a 66% full dial at minimum here on A point. 2 minutes in the clock. Dragon Blade knocked up.
Dragon does have that dragon, funnily enough. Mac, gonna be a little bit careful here. You might lose your Mercy if you're not careful, and that's just it. Ixia being a prime sniper so far, and Dad as well, pushing in that damage themselves, looking for this Ashe. Can't quite find it. Coach Gun is a massive dead optic. Finds the Mercy. But again, a little bit of a mess up there. Ixia could have found that kill a little bit sooner. Now you only have the tanks here, and it's gonna be trying to get this Ashe out of the way. You can't quite find it. Oh! That's nasty. That's nasty.
That was incredible. Ixia really putting the dirty in dirt. It's such an incredible shot there to finish it up. It wasn't even necessary. You can't put him that far under, man. That was a beautiful shot. And we will see both Diva Bomb and Nano Boost be coming online in a similar fashion towards the next push here. 3 ultimates on the side of Dirt as the Dragon eats up Dragon.
Honestly, I'm getting some Vietnam flashbacks here if I'm Amnesia right now. I'm like, okay, 55 seconds. We don't have the greatest. Okay, I say that, but they do have 4 ultimates on the table. But I mean, none of these ults I look at and go like, these are just like, they're gonna win the fight off this. Like this single ult combination. Like it has to be really well utilized ultimates. And Omega's looking for by himself. I don't know if you want to fight the Fair Mercy by himself, but Omega's feeling himself today, so he can do whatever he wants. But gonna be the flank. Mag looking for that backline. But Declan already getting engaged on with that Nano Monkey. You know, like that's one of the like that ult combination just so clean. And now everyone's being forced back, but George Lopez just loses their life. Should be getting rezzed up though, perhaps, as basically Dad is just keeping them solo away from touching anyone on the side of Dirt. So a really massive job there from Dad. He just solo quarantined 4 people on that high ground, and now they can't even really have anything for this final point.
Clean fight going back and forth here. Time runs out as Dragon and Declan are both stuck onto the high ground, not able to get that last second contestation in. That was downhill, if I could say anything. That was solidly downhill because they started so well. Amnesia showed so much promise with the first take. I think that the number one thing that we've learned here is Dirt is very good at adapting, and that I think Amnesia does not have as hard of a spine as they need to. I think that they got very affected by the retake of Dirt at about halfway through that stopped them from getting their take. I think they got too comfortable and Dirt took that away from them, and that prevented them from performing to their maximum throughout the rest of the map that they could have performed to. So they're well welcome to try again, and they'll be facing off a different composition this time. So it's entirely possible that it works better here. But I don't honestly have very high hopes. I really want them to, but they seem to be getting in their own way a lot.
Importantly, though, okay, no, never mind. Okay, I was gonna say, with that Ursa and the Baptiste Lucio, maybe it's slow enough for Magpolo to get a lot of damage down on the Pharah. I definitely like defensive Pharah a lot more. Okay, they're just using the Lucio to speed out the Sanfra, obviously. Gonna get that thing. What are they running? Well, they're gonna run the same composition they ran on attack, so I'm expecting the swap. They're gonna mirror.
They're gonna stick the Arista here.
Yeah,
this could
dramatically
increase the effectiveness of Magpolar here.
Yes.
Sigma
and
double
there's no
shield.
Diva. And there's no Diva on the field.
This should be interesting.
I think this is a prime position here for Mag to get some damage down, you know? Like, defensive Pharah into this composition, it's hard for Ixia to do the same thing of denying Magpolar when Magpolar already holds space, you know? It's gonna be so hard. You gotta find those shots through shields, through bodies. Omega doesn't care though. Doesn't care about your shield, doesn't care about your bodies, and Ixia doesn't care either. I mean, that's like when you just have your snipers and they just hit the shots. Magpolar, really nice 2-tap onto Ixia, but it comes about 20 seconds too late when both of your 2 of your key members are down in that fight, right? And I mean, it's a sad moment here for Amnesia, but sometimes the enemy, they're just having a really nice day, right? They're playing snipers, they're hitting headshots. You got your backline, they get logged, okay? Yeah. It happens. It's not your fault. Your backline gets your backline gets logged. You lost the match, but you have another map to go, right?
It's difficult, and that's understandable. Dirt has been kind of playing out of their minds here, and you'll see evidence in Ixia with that nasty shot onto the Devo remeching. It's just not something that you are used to seeing. Amnesia will be will not be walking away with a win today, but they could be walking away with one map to lessen the impact of this game on their map brackets.
Yeah. Hashtag I've met matters. We're gonna bring that back. It's been about 2 years gone, but we're gonna bring it back again. I mean, it's just unfortunate, right? For Amnesia, you have the setup, you have them running. Actually, I believe a favorable comp for you, and it really does come down. I was in the middle of saying it. Maybe it's a little bit of a caster curse where I'm saying like, oh, it's gonna be hard here for the snipers to find those angles, because they have to take the space instead of controlling it. And then as soon as I say that, a log comes out and Nixia does just really nice shots. I've been so impressed here from D.I.R.T's DPS. Actually, their entire team, but really their DPS have been the standouts on these last 2 maps, kind of because the compositions are focused around them, right?
The DPS of D.I.R.T have been incredible. There's no doubt about it. Omega and Ixia have they've more than put their teams on their backs. They put their teams just on their head and worn them like a hat. They've been doing an impeccable job doing just about everything they can to make sure that their team is winning. And unfortunately for Amnesia, that includes picking off any spare head that they see.
It's not. It's just so rough, you know. When you're setting up, you're like, okay, we got full health, but we got 2 ticks and a good bit. Like, this is winnable, guys. We got this.
Yeah.
And then first fight comes out, you're like, okay, we're playing this composition. We know how to play this, and then 2 dead, and you're just like, what can you do, right?
Yeah. It's just a bit of positioning. They need to wake up a little bit. It's not really the fault of Amnesia per se. Like, they're not playing inherently badly. They just need to tighten up a little bit and make sure that they're not forgetting to watch out for the DPS duo. That is Ixia and Omega.
I mean, they're so good.
Oh,
unfortunate moment on that screen.
That is so difficult.
We can just put that under redacted, and we just not talk about that again.
There's
I think
before I left to play collegiate Rainbow Six Siege, I played Overwatch with a team called the Aces. We were pretty okay, but one time during playoffs, we had someone named Vettel who was was like a genuine family member of the team. We all loved her, but she just walked off the cliff there when we were defending. She was playing BAP, we were playing double shield, and she just walked off the cliff completely accidentally. So we call that Vettel's cliff, Vettel's corner. And I'll never not like shake a little bit whenever I see a team playing there, because I just get flashbacks saying, "Oh my God, they're gonna pull a Vettel. They're just gonna fall off." And that's exactly what happened. But this time it was the attackers. So yeah. I'm not sure I'm going to be able to cast that map ever again.
Okay, perfect. We brought up the first memories. Now you're scarred forever.
Exactly.
And a demoralizing loss here so far. They lose the map here for Amnesia. But you know what isn't demoralizing? Okay, purchasing merch from ! Store in the chat. The Tranquility Store. Buy like 20% off. Like that's not demoralizing. That is uplifting, you know.
That's
when I hear that,
yeah.
I go, my spirits get risen. Like if I was, like, you know, I'm like, oh, that's really unfortunate. And I go like 20% off in the Tranquility Store. Like, man, I could really use that, you know. And so ! Store in the chat. If you do want to hit that up, I'm gonna hit that up very shortly myself, because I'm feeling pretty hyped now after hearing that again. Reminding myself, have it on the sheet over here. But we will be going into Havana. And it's going to be interesting to see. I think this does feed a lot into kind of what D.I.R.T was doing, right? With that double sniper. Yeah.
I think that it is more than viable to be seeing a Widowmaker on Havana. So far, Hanzo and Ashe have been the 2 DPS that we've been seeing exclusively, because they can be mercy pocketed, and that will incredibly improve their performance, but they're relatively self-sufficient. Hanzo has got an incredible kit that allows him many wall hacks, he's got the storm arrow that allows him to deal with close range encounters, and he's got his leap to allow him to get out. And Ashe has got something pretty similar. Widowmaker just can't compete. With Havana, however, the very long-range engagements can make it so that she's viable on first and third point. So I'm excited to see if maybe she gets pulled out here.
Yeah, and right now, should be entering Havana shortly. There it is. Perfect timing. Entering Havana here. I'm gonna be interested to see maybe what if we see potentially. I mean, what if we see a rush composition come out here for Amnesia, right?
That would be cool.
That'd be. But it's like Havana, right? Havana in a nutshell is like, okay,
Yeah.
you're playing double shield, double sniper, and you're relying on those snipers to kind of do their thing, or you're playing rush. So it's gonna be interesting to see. It's been a while since I've actually seen some rush from these teams. Besides that 6-man composition, which I don't consider rush, I consider that brawly. But it's gonna be interesting. I haven't seen rush in a little bit actually, so it's gonna be fun, I think.
Yeah, so let's see what we've got here. Defender side is really the only one we can analyze. We've got the double shield, we've got the Ashe and the Hanzo. So really just about exactly what we expect. But Dead Optics is on the Reinhardt now.
Let's go!
We may see that stick. That is what I'm super excited for. I am really wanting to see a little bit of something for this with this Reinhardt play. Reinhardt is my favorite character, him and Winston. But Winston's been very abundant, and I want to see Reinhardt so badly.
Yeah, and we're gonna see the very fun stuff that Reinhardt will do in the double shield composition, which is mostly hold his shield as they walk at them, and then swing on a tank. That's really kind of what this Reinhardt's gonna be able to do, kind of relying on the Reinhardt to build that space for them. Nice pull in the backline, could get some nice damage in there. And just give enough space for Dragon to do his thing, you know?
The pull dynamite here is really going to be the #1 source of damage and the absolute best thing that they can be doing. So we'll see a little bit of damage be used up immediately. We see the pull. Not a lot of coordination, though, with the pull dynamite.
But that's a lot of poke you're just letting out. Why? Like, you're poking out your shield there. You're poking out your shield there, letting the Ashe shoot at it. The time that you're recharging your shield is the time that you can't be pushing, right? And the D.Va, I understand what you're trying to do. I play D.Va myself. I understand you're trying to deny that high ground, but sometimes it's just not gonna work, you know? Sometimes you're gonna jump out there, instigate D-Mac. Now your team without that DM. Even less ways to shut down that sniper. What you have to do, but you don't even need that D.Va to shut down the sniper. When Dragon shuts down that sniper, now it's the time to go. They're pressing that go pedal. Mag already has that window up and available. Declan, he can sniper himself, just find that kill, and now it's the time to go. Ooh, Declan does go down very late in that fight. The Reinhardt is low. Now Bob, the perfect stall character, 1200 HP and a lot of damage in an aimbot. And that's all you really need. The D.Va is back in that mech with that Baptiste. Oh, George fight too? George? What are you doing, George? You're going crazy out there, but can this fight get cleaned up? I'm not sure. The rest doesn't come out. Should be equalized.
I say the greatest aim I've ever seen on a support player has to be from George Lopez here, and that's a sentence I never thought I'd actually be saying out loud, but it is incredible what she's been able to do on both the Zen and the Baptiste.
Oh, you can just see there, it's the rush composition classic, in its most purest and honest form. You just see the Reinhardt there, just charge the backline to get on top of them. Declan's been kind of silently just being a kind of a sniper here on this man. I'm all for it, but
Declan, brother, they take off your muzzle or something? Come on, man.
Where was this last game? Wait, wait.
Booth is just pointing out to us Declan is now off the support role and onto the DPS role.
That's Mag. Mag was playing fair, remember? Yeah.
Mag was on the Pharah last map, and Declan has now swapped onto the DPS role. So on a role that he's much more comfortable with, and he is, I believe, the highest SR member of the team other than Cap. So having him back on his main role is going to increase the confidence level of the team tenfold. Here's the shatter!
There's the shatter, there's just the push coming out. Does anything actually die? No, they get the lamp out though. And a lot of damage forcing them to not be able to push. The Bongo in response, Ixia does find Mag. Polar, you've lost your window, you've lost a lot of damage. You're gonna see the beat trying to kind of stabilize, but You beat 4. Oh no, that's massive. You have the beat still. That beat doesn't get wasted. You don't have that massive amount of damage coming off the Griddick Flux. And now Ixia on this link looking for Declan, doesn't quite find it just yet. Really nice DM keeping them alive. And now Declan's just gonna push. But Dead Off is just in no man's land right there. But at the end of it all, you invest a lot of ult, you got a lot of space push on this card.
All the way in the backline, Declan just trying to survive. They're not going to use that mail or to save it for the next push. 4 ultimates online for Amnesia. A real solid chance of finishing the map they've got here because that mail is going to be huge. They've got so many, unlike last map, where they had ults and none of them felt like they were game-changing. This map, it feels like all they have are ults and they're all game-changing. So I am no doubt that they're gonna finish it.
You've lost your Lucio so early. You're Reinhardt because yeah. So Reinhardt, because he doesn't have that speed, has to just send it forward with that charge, and he finds it. You know, Declan pushing forward with that blizzard as well. Oh, I really love this switch up here, right? You're putting Declan on that Mei, something they seem extremely comfortable on. You're going towards this rush style. And this is kind of what I think it's a composition that tempo suits what their players want to do. It just feels natural to them. Besides those other compositions where it felt really just clunky at times.
D.I.R.T is so far off balance here. They haven't really found a solid footing yet. Even when they won that last team fight, I will say a lot of ultimates were used from Amnesia to get that fight win and secure it, which I do not blame in the slightest. We've got Ixia on the Widowmaker now. It's an entirely new terrain, and they might end up wanting to make some switches themselves. Here comes the pull.
Really nice. The big round shield being offered there, allowed to just whenever there's a pull. Ooh, Declan. Yeah, Declan is just kind of fearless, you know. The bomb's gonna go in the back, doesn't quite find anything but that lamp. And now the Shatter forward does put one on the ground. They will lose their life now. It's time to hold the shield. Just hold the shield. Just hold the shield. No! They lose their life. They would have been broken anyways. I understand that. But George, again, George is kill me constant. Like, I'm just gonna George is doing so much work.
George is absolutely nutty. I'd love to see like the series stats across the board of like George next to the DPS with no labels to tell me the difference. Like, have you guess the difference between George's stats and the DPS if you did not have healing as a label on them. Regardless, Cry having to already use the res is a pretty big deal moving into this fight, but not quite as big a deal as I think Magpolar is with this and Matrix.
Gonna see them try to push. Oh! Oh, Mega with a massive drag. I was just saying, you're gonna see them try to push that Ant Matrix, try to deny that resources, but Omega just finds the Oh my god! Omega!
Okay!
He's just nasty!
Oh,
this is unfair!
Oh,
I feel dirty. I am. This is what D.I.R.T's bread and butter is. It's making me feel disgusting watching these plays. Holy moly!
Hands, eyes, ears all need to be washed. I'm glad that Amnesia's dying to their namesake because I want to forget what I just saw. That was incredible. I'll never see anything as good as that.
No one can hide.
Oh, Mega! Another one just finding this end casually. This just. I mean, it's a contest here right now for who the better sniper is. Is it Omega? Is it Ixia? Or is it George Lopez? It's the three-way contest between okay, Dragon gets the better of Omega there, but still, I mean, it's just a three-way contest here. You have 3 snipers on your team, and on Havana, that's a big boom, especially on third point.
3 snipers on your team, and one of them's a support.
Yeah.
That's like big old huge.
Does not get canceled. Oh, and Trade is dead. Trade is just dead. Cry can't even do anything there. They're just dead. They're gone. They're deleted.
You ever been lifted up by a reversal of gravity and dropped straight to a dragon's maw? I don't think that's ever been actual.
Many times, actually.
It's incredible.
It's the life of tank players, man. You're the target for the ultimates. It's gonna happen.
Yeah.
And right now, you see them. They're grouping up. They're gonna be Lucio. Again, they're back on this Reinhardt, but they don't have that Lucio to help them. They have that Zenyatta, so it's gonna be a lot harder for that Reinhardt to get in and get out. And they got in with that charge. They're not getting out. And now a big blade coming out here from Sector, looking for this Hanzo right there. Does get it as well. 2 of the snipers is gone. It's just George Lopez left. And George Lopez cementing themselves the battle royale of snipers on this team as they won out. But again, that's the fight going the way so far of Amnesia. But again, this map is not over. Those respawns are coming in. Now it's Dad's turn. He's on the Reinhardt as well, but it's going to be on Train. How massive will this flux be?
We have a flux coming in from both teams. Jack almost at it as well. Just have to buy a little bit of time on the side of Dirt as Train will let it rip.
There it is, into the high ground. The Hanzo going down. There's nothing there to save them. And the charge comes out here, right? So you will find the kill here, but that should still be the round. Ending in that 3-point capture here for Amnesia. And I love the injection of life that this has kind of brought in for Amnesia. Unfortunately, I believe a map too late. But I still love to see it because I'd rather have seen this than see nothing at all, right? Because this gives me a lot of looking forward to future maps, right? Like where I'm like, okay, kind of what can I see here, right, from this team? And I see some very promising rush gameplay.
Now, I don't know who amongst the chat noticed this, but it's my job. I'm Color. I'm gonna geek about it. That was genius. They had no. There was no Lucio to speed them in, and they had a Reinhardt and a lot of ground to cover. So what did they do to make space for the Rein to move freely? They used the Dragon! It's like a smoke grenade that kills you!
Oh, did he just charge through the Dragon?
It was genius! He used the Dragon to clear an entire lane for Dead Optics to get all the way to the front without taking almost any damage. There was a third tank, and it had 2 mouths! It was crazy. That was one of the biggest brain plays I've ever seen on third point Havana, because that's almost always down to the DPS hitting heads. Dragon used his brain and the dragons. That was incredible.
And now I'm looking here. I want to see this close hold. Obviously, gonna have that May, so gonna be a little different than I think. Kind of. Okay, so we're gonna go classic kind of anti-spawn hold strat, which is not gonna work out just here. Ixia doesn't manage to get that Wraith form off, and they kind of just get rolled over here, looking for any trades on the backside. Declan is going quite low, but doesn't manage to live. But a nice little counter strat to this spawn hold is that BAP and Ana. Because you don't really need that speed to right on top of you, you're just going for pure utility and healing. But we're gonna see if that works out for them. So far it hasn't, but again, that's only the first fight at spawn hold. A really nice Earth Shadow there coming out from Dragon. That's what I like to mean about, like, the flashbang kind of looks like an Earth Shadow. You hit 6 people with it, everyone's stunned up. Now though, we're going back and forth here. This is really good actually for Dirt, right? Because
you can't do him like that.
I would say it's really good for Dirt when they get shattered in the spawn, but no, they traded out a kill there. I believe it was Cry that died. So now they have to run. Yeah, see, they have to run away. They have to run away. They can't hold close anymore.
They call him Dead Optics because anyone he sees, he kills. That's incredible. The Earth Shatter onto the remaining supports to allow them to be able to escape was a perfect use of that ultimate.
Let them up.
Dead Optics just one shot there. He managed to live before that lamp even comes out. He's so low. And Dead Optics now dead. And Ixia, next patrol with that Reaper. I think, interestingly enough, opting in for that Reaper over that McCree. The Mayall is going to be coming out here. Sigma stunned up. You're going to go for that the window, not the window, the lamp. And a lot of terminology here. And Omega, on that Cobra, we're going to get a lot of damage down. And you do see Dad just running forward because it has that Baptista to kind of pocket. Try looking to get as much damage down as possible here, but doesn't quite find it just yet. Gonna get chased down by this Lucio, and that is the power of Lucio. He can 1v1 a lot of other supports in DPS where other supports can't. As Cry trying to you're not
trying to get out. I will say a lot of big brains on the side of Amnesia here. Kind of an ironic twist if you think about it, but I think that with the recontest here, this is exactly what they wanted and more from that hold. They bought a lot of time and they have a full recontest with time to spare.
Looking at the shadow here. This is 54% on Dead Optics compared to Dad with his shadow already up. And 3 on the ground though, combined with that high noon is gonna seal the deal for this team fight. Really nice job here from Dirt after that initial first couple losses on spawn hold. They kill Cry and then you see instantly it's like Amnesia's like, we really want to get into the spawn hold, but we can't without this Baptiste. We gotta back up, give space, and they use that space perfectly to kind of push themselves further into this map.
Amnesia needed to ult first there. They needed to ult first, and they needed to do it much quicker. Because
Oh. The wall almost was massive there. The beat's gonna get a lot of damage reduction there, but still, a lot of that damage is then gonna just be taken. Like a lot of that shield is gonna be taken off by the Reaper ult and the Critic Flux. So even if you have, let's say, 2,000 HP, I mean, you're gonna lose so much that so quickly that it's like that beat wasn't even at all. But if you didn't have the beat, obviously you're dead instantly.
if you 2,000 HP with the beat, 1,000 of it's gonna be taken immediately as soon as the ult's finished. It's just the stacking of damage. Oh, this could be big.
This is a nice high noon push. I mean, the shadow comes down, and that is just gone in this corner. The Blizzard as well, looking to clean this up, and that it will. A little bit of anti-synergy. I don't know about that high noon. A little bit ambitious, maybe the swapping off here.
Oh no, I've heard about that technique. The press Q to respawn. That's a very old McCree technique.
Yeah. It's the McCree tech. It's also used on Fair, I think, a lot.
Yeah, I've seen Far use it.
Fair used a lot, but yeah, resetting here, and not the best position for D.I.R.T, honestly. Only have that beat available, but I say that not many ults available here for Amnesia either.
And the position of the cart, I think, fairly. Oh, okay, big charge. Not fighting much.
I mean, that is so low. They have the beat now. It's like a 2,000 HP Reinhardt versus like a 20 HP Reinhardt. I mean, that's not gonna last very long. The May goes in, and they're just gone as well. And they use that one ult advantage very well. Train that bomb in aggressively with that charge, and it just doesn't quite find anything. That's kind of your X factor, right? You need to get the bomb to secure your early pick, so the beat doesn't kind of mitigate it enough. But I think we might even get another recontest. That's actually kind of crazy.
A very good aggressive team came out there from that. I think that it's something that, like, I think it's probably what won them the fight, in my opinion. We'll see another Gravitic Flux come in pretty much just to get Dragon.
See, there's a bit of a threat there, and Jack takes him out, but again, you're going into third point here. You have plenty of time. I'm wondering if they swap back over to that Arista composition. There's not many ults they're going to lose here. Yeah, you don't lose any ults here, basically, for swapping over. So, no need to try and, like, force this for a fight. You're going to swap over, boys. Dead Optics and Declan kind of have to stay on that man Reinhardt to keep that value.
Blizzard and Shadow, I would say, are big enough value. Oh, ultimates!
Yeah,
Dragon
sometimes
just
it's
took the
look
one
ahead.
in the mouth.
I mean, what can't you say about this game, the storyline of this game so far, other than D.I.R.T has got some DPS players, and one of them is also support. And it's been kind of incredible to see these players play. But again, I mean, Amnesia already capped the map, so even if D.I.R.T caps here, they still have another round to play. Again, playing for that a little bit of map there does affect some seeding and some minor instances where like map score does actually kind of matter at times. I don't recall exactly if there was like a major instance of it happening last season, but Ixia is so crazy. Yeah, there was an instance of it happening where map score did in fact affect seeding in a pretty major way. And now you're looking at that opportunity. You're going to charge forward, looking for this shatter, but there's 2 shields to go through. And, oh, I thought he canceled the shatter there, but no. Just going to throw out that main blizzard. But again, I mean, you have this rush comp, but you can't really fight that out in the open. And so what happened, you had to wait all the way until there's archway to fight. So
honestly, it's given them a lot of free space, but it's also giving them a pretty significant advantage once they get to that end goal. It's going to be very difficult to beat out a brawl composition once you get to that choke point, because that's it. It's like the choke point in Hanamura. It's almost exactly the same.
That's cute in response. He went back and changed himself. That's what that is. The button sometimes doesn't work as a cue to respawn, you know.
Maybe he was just checking the time. He just wanted to know what the time was.
Cry's dead, and that's a Sigma and Arista on the floor, but they have a lamp and some assistants behind them with the bomb. Ooh, and a nice flash right there. Finds the Lucio. Oh, because I'm not saying that name. Finds the Lucio, and they are gone. And I think looking at the next fight, this could easily be a hold here for Amnesia. I mean, they still have that beat to stall out this M matrix, but might want to save it for that flux.
I think that Dragon Dead Optics, and Declan will all be seeing their ultimates if this fight drags on.
Yeah.
So, D.I.R.T really wants to see this close quick. That's really their only choice here.
Pushing forward with that Ant Matrix, they do find the top up onto that Sigma, and a really nice job there, Omega, doing Omega things, find that Baptiste, but he's stuck. The D.Va, Firebucks into the wall, and Dragon takes out their feet. And now Dead Optics is under the air, now onto the ground, and there he is gone. And while there's this fight in the backline, they take out Ixia, but they kind of lost a lot of this point control, and now there's only this Baptiste in the that was kind of wacky, I'm not gonna lie, how that played out to end up with they basically having full point control, and no one's there to touch. So we're really going to another round, 1 minute on the clock for each of them, but I do favor, in this situation, I do favor Amnesia with that rush composition, with that early spawn hold, you know?
I think that the number one thing that I absolutely want to see here is a final showdown from snipers. I want to see someone pop off at the very end somewhere. I want to see one of the DPS, be it Omega, Exia, Magpolar, Dragon, or George Lopez. Any of those DPS can pop off, and I'll be happy. I just want to see someone finish it very strong.
Just giving production more clips to play for some highlights, because I mean this game has been quite highlight heavy. Despite the scoreline, it has been a lot of really nice highlights from both sides even. And for right now again, it's gonna be Doomfist here instead of that Mei. So Ixia not a Mei player, and apparently they also favor the Zarya here, which I think in very minor situations does help with like Mei freeze, because it cleanses that and also cleanses anti-nade. So
at this level you kind of need the Zarya for the Doomfist. That's the number one thing I think you need.
Yeah, but just don't play the Doomfist. But yes, yeah.
Yeah, I kind of agree. Well, it's what they want to run for it, and we'll see how well it works out.
Oh, punches straight into the wall, goes up in Adam, but the stun comes out, but he has 500 HP because he's Doomfist. The lamp almost not enough there, but the Pine walking up in just a second, he's sent back to the garbage cans, and he's gone. And now it was something. Amnesia was the first one to spawn hold in this match, and now it's gonna be D.I.R.T trying to replicate that, but with their own little twist on it, you know.
Yeah, the spawn hold is definitely something to something to try and replicate, because it worked so well for Amnesia.
And Anthony might need that bubble, but it goes onto the Doomfist instead. That's the thing, like you run it on that Doomfist, you're putting the bubbles onto the Doomfist, but when your Ryan needs it most, you're prioritizing the Doomfist. It's just, it's not the greatest thing in the world for that Reinhardt. He kind of gets left stranded a little bit, it feels like.
It turns Reinhardt into a solo tank, pretty much.
More of a shield bot than he already is, you know.
Yeah, as an off tank, usually your job is to help the team, and especially make the life of your main tank easier. But here, you kind of abandon him, really.
Put it in Ixia, everything on Ixia. Which I mean, you wanted highlight, you wanted pop offs. You gotta look for pop offs here, but you're gonna be Wiki testing on this corner with this High Noon. Breaking that wall, already forced out the wall. Behind Noon first coming out from Dragon, doesn't find anything. He gets the nano, but they get behind Noon. A little bit of a miscommunication there, but Dad on that front line, looking for something. Ooh, a really nice block there from Dead Optic. Has a shatter of his own. This wall goes down. I'm a shatter. He's in the air. He's on the shield, but there's a little bit split there. Now the graviton moves. What you're waiting for? You just turned the shield. If you're the Reinhardt, you don't get anything done. Ixie now, 75 HP and running. Dad. Ooh, trying enough, he's getting healing, but Declan with the shot actually finds him in the end. But Dad going solo with that 18 on this point. And, I mean, this is George is just playing he's a turret. He's like a torp turret basically there, but super back and forth. But Amnesia is rolling through, and I love to see this here from Amnesia, right? I mean, they've lost the series, but they're still playing. They're still playing their game.
Actually swapped from the Doomfist to the Hanzo. So we will be seeing that now. Usually I believe it was Omega that we saw on the Hanzo, but now Exia seems to be picking up the bow and arrow to show how good they are. So we'll be seeing how effective that is as Omega walks forward on that in 3.
That's a really neutral fight. You only have Dragon with that High Noon, which again isn't the most high impact ult on its own. But we're gonna see what they can do with that. But Declan, looking at Declan with that Blizzard, there's no D.Va to eat it. They're uncontested. Another big thing about Almond D.Va, making it so much value to them. The Lamp does mitigate a lot of that in the bubble. Nice coming bubble.
good sleep.
Oh, that's a great sleep onto Omega, stopping that High Noon. He should get pushed down almost. But now onto this tank, you're just gonna try to squeeze him up. A little bit of the left click as well. The bubble there to save him. But even then, he's just gonna get manhandled right there. Nothing Dad can do. And now this high ground is just kind of open for the pickings here to get pushed at some time with Ixia trying their best to get enough of that damage down. It's just not gonna be enough. The remake kill even onto Jack the Lamp. Not enough to save it from that kill, and again, really good job there from Amnesia.
The truck just keeps on moving forward, grinding its gears, headed all the way up the track. As we do see Reinhardt, Dead Optic, getting ready to lay down the law, break the earth, and destroy his opponent with that earth shatter. But they take an opposing route.
Right now, Dead Optic's looking for that shatter just right now. Dragon already come up with shadow. You don't fight by everything, they were in the air, but you're still looking to clean up this fight. That's already 3 down, now 4. Dad does find the pin, but it's not going to do much, as that's a D.Va you're hitting. That's only 300 HP left on the target, and that's plenty enough to survive through and push it on to this 3rd point. I mean, this overtime wick has been burning for so long, like, the moment anyone says on my cart, it's going to the next round.
If someone even like has a daydream about being anywhere other than the cart, the overtime's going to be over. So they need to keep their minds in the here and now, especially with 3 ultimates and maybe 4 on the way against the up and coming 3 ultimates, maybe 4 on the way.
That's a oh, the wall! Oh my, the wall! Declan, I don't even care if they lose this fight. That was incredible. The bomb into the air as well. They're looking for that loose jump, and it does fine. Behind it on the outside does fine too. The Fable, I don't even care. I don't care. That was hype. That was hype. I love that. I love to see that. That was great. I'm loving that. I mean, you push it to 3rd point on Havana, win overtime. That's a win. That's a victory right there in my book. I mean, obviously not over yet. They can replicate the same thing, but man, that's a great push, and that was a fantastic play.
Omega did do something very smart, and that is over when they performed that flank High Noon. They waited until the D.Va bomb had already exploded and the mech was coming in, because they knew that as soon as the D.Va called mech, they would be locked in place and they would have enough time to build up a kill shot on everyone they could see before the D.Va was able to remech and turn defense matrix on the McCree and stop the High Noon from going through. So really a very good job in timing and just a smart play overall from Omega, but I don't really expect any less after what we've seen throughout all of today.
Yeah, and here's the thing, right? The first 3 maps, this looks completely different of a team. And in some ways it is. I mean, Magpolo swapping over to the support, Declan pulling up that DPS role, which is their main role. Obviously, Capital out of, I believe he said in chat, he moved into college, so his computer is being shipped to him, so he's currently not here. But he did provide some coaching on this map, is what he said. So, I can see that definitely some influence there. This is a much more, feels a lot more natural for them, right? As Magpolo finds Omega in that first bit. Again, they're trying out this Doomfist pairing with this Tracer, but again, this time there's no Zarya. So it's just kind of leaving the Doomfist out to dry this time, which is kind of the problem with running both those characters. Now you can see that's not you can get shot from there. You can't get shot from here, but you can't really shoot them either. So probably Hanzo.
I mean, hey, you can't like take it away from him for trying. That was a solid attempt on the Bastion. It wasn't a Lego Bastion, so it wasn't going to work in the long run. But all the same, it was a solid attempt. We will see one close to the ultimate push.
That's the power of the flashbang. You can just lose a member instantly, and again, it's gonna be a very similar situation to what Amnesia had pushing this payload. You gotta push it all the way in overtime. The moment you step off that cart, it is donezo. And going to this next fight, you have basically you mirror those support ults, and you mirror those support ults basically, which
Yeah.
Could lean in the favor of the attack.
If you're looking forward now, the re-engage is going to happen before point 1, and there are a couple ultimates, like maybe 4, 2 relatively immediately available. Oh, a good flank.
I like
Set themselves
this.
up to be the attackers because they've been pretty successful with that so far.
Yeah, Train looking to build up that ult just really quickly. Already George doesn't have that lamp available. The Shadow onto the front side only catches 2. Mag and Dragon go down to the back line, but the tank line is there to keep them up. The Train does lose their mech, doesn't manage to get that bomb off. The beat comes out here for the Lucio here for D.I.R.T. I'm not gonna say that name again. But I mean, you invest so much there, and look at this recontest. Look at these ultimate recontests here. That's a little hard to overcome.
Will the spawns be there though? Everyone has respawned before they capped points, so an early recontest will be available, and there are 4 ultimates automatically online for the side of Amnesia. And if you look, the 2 ultimates that aren't are arguably the 2 that are going to build the fastest.
And they cut off the escape. I love this. They're going to back up. They're running in straight into the dragons. The high noon is then to follow. I don't know what they're catching. They're catching the Reinhardt here. They lost Cry. They don't really have that speed to push them in, but that should be the map here. Unless a miracle like McCree 6-man. No, that's the map. Amnesia not going quietly will secure the 3-1 loss there, which, I mean, doesn't feel like a loss though, does it? You know, that final map was just such a turnaround for them. But of course, the first 3 maps didn't cease to happen because of Havana. They still did happen, but I think this is the first game, not first game, the second week, right? Second week. This is the second game for them. Both these teams were 1-0. So, they are not like looking out of it, right? But I mean, there's still plenty of time in the season. And I think Amnesia in that last kind of map rejuvenated themselves. This could have been a loss that could have like hurt them mentally, right? But now I think it's a thing of like, okay, we know what we can work on, but we also know that we are a good team that can beat D.I.R.T, who's also a very strong team. Like there is no there's no shame in losing to D.I.R.T. They're a very good team, but in the manner they were losing to D.I.R.T, it was kind of hard to swallow. But now I think at the end there, I think they turn it around mentally. I think this isn't too bad of a loss, even if it does go down in that loss column. You definitely have a lot to look forward to.
Now the biggest takeaway I think for fans of both teams, especially fans of Amnesia, is that this is week 2, and these are projected to be the top 2 teams in the league. So D.I.R.T won, and that is 100% deserved. They played extraordinarily well and have the best 3-man DPS lineup I think I have ever seen on a squad. But for fans of Amnesia, this is not something that you should be disappointed in, because they were swapping around roles. They still did a really good job. They won. They took a map away even after they have had everything that could have possibly gone wrong for them. They lost the first 3 maps. Their mentals were probably way down, and then they turned it around. They ended up winning a map in the end with an incredible performance, with Declan back on the role that he wanted to be on. And you're missing probably the most important member on your team. So it is absolutely not a loss that they should take to heart. It's week 2. They're missing a number 1 member, and it's shown that D.I.R.T is definitely beatable. So it's a win for D.I.R.T, but I don't think it's a loss, strictly speaking, for Amnesia or their fans.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of really good stuff there from Amnesia towards the end. I mean, if it ended at 3rd map, I would have been a lot more critical. But
I agree.
They were missing Capital, who is their main. I assume like they're also kind of a coaching figure as well.
Yeah.
I know they coach other teams. I know they work with other teams in Tranquility, and I also know I think the highest SR member of the team. They hit the SR lock, and then basically they hit GM shortly after the lock opened. Basically, like when they can start grinding comp again. So, good player on the ladder, everything like that.
Both Declan and both Declan and Capital are the hit the max before the season started. So 2 very, very good players. And once we saw Declan back on their role, if we see Capital back on their role as well, this team has the shot at being number 1. Has more than the shot at being number 1. I think they have a solid chance at finishing off this season as a champion.
Yeah, but before that, I mean, we also we talked a lot about Amnesia. That's because that last fight was hype. Okay, I'm sorry, Dirt fans. We're not shaming Dirt. Dirt played amazingly. They also won the
Absolutely.
match. They also won the match. Like, we can't shame Dirt for winning the match. And for that, we have to pick a player of the match. I'll let you go first because I'm scared as all else because I dislike confrontation with fans. So you pick first, then I go however spicy you take it. I also go similar spice level. Okay.
So I think that there are a lot of very, very good options here, and my number one has to be from one of the 3 DPS that we saw. I think Omega, Exia, and George Lopez are the best DPS in this matchup, and I'm probably gonna have to go with George Lopez as my pick. MVP DPS of the night, not support. I wouldn't MVP them with support. They're MVP DPS.
I mean,
They did a fine job.
I
on
mean,
support.
yeah, I mean, yeah, they played a great support, but I will give it. I'm gonna give it to George Lopez as well. She played amazingly, and I mean the fact that you're having that much impact in the kill feed as well as having a lot of impact on the support role itself. You're providing, I thought was plenty fine lamps, adequate lamps. You're also doing great amounts of healing, keeping your team up, as well as provide.
In that last map. That was a phenomenal amount of healing.
I mean, yeah, you're also providing so much damage for your team. You're a triple threat, basically. You have the utility from your lamp, you have the healing, you also have the damage. And also when you're playing, don't even get me started on that. Zen performances were crazy as well. Like,
there was nothing wrong.
They were attacking Volskaya. They were attacking Volskaya with that composition. Their Zen was the first one to have ultimate. She was doing so much damage. So I'm gonna give it to George Lopez myself. But of course, I mean that is it for the match today. It wasn't 3-1 to Dirt. But before you go, if you're watching here, maybe you're new, maybe you're undecided on what teams to root for. If this match maybe swayed your opinion, do you know where you can get some amazing merch to rep these teams?
I don't know. Could you remind us, please?
Exclamation point store. You can go to the Tranquility store. 20% off any Dirt merch you want, and some Amnesia merch perhaps is there as well. I mean, you want it, we got it. I mean, 20% off as well. That's kind of just an insane deal, and I think you guys should head over there immediately to kind of support the fact that these two teams popped off like crazy, especially Amnesia towards that end. But again, that was it for today. Anything you want to say before we do leave here, Thistle?
Just that I don't think anyone should be disappointed in their results, and I think that everyone really just did a very good job. Even if you weren't mentioned by us as much by name, I don't think there was a single person here that should be disappointed with themselves. So I'm perfectly happy to call this one a victory mentally for everyone.
Yeah, and everything does end up happy and well in the end, doesn't it?
Yeah.
As we do end up leaving here tonight, again, I was Worstcast on your player play. I was joined here by Thistle, or Damn Cam TM, trademark. I don't know if I'm saying that. I think that's right.
Yeah, damn Cam TM. Yep.
Yeah, Damn Cam trademarked. And well, of course, we're joined here by the silent carry of the broadcast of the production. It is Booth. Hashtag I like Booth in the chat, if you will. Yep. I know how much he loves that and loves all the support you guys give him. Also, I'm just kidding. As do put that in the chat. We'll hear about that. My next statement, which may have gone too far, but we will be seeing here again. That was a really nice match here, closing up, and good night to everyone. Thank you for sticking with us. And again, exclamation point store if you ever maybe looking for some shirts or something you need. So. But everyone have a nice night. We'd love to see you tomorrow, I believe, on the broadcast. We have Maelstrom and Mechanize. Really strong match there. Yeah. So that should be really fun. And of course, we always have our next matches as well, like Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. D.I.R.T is tomorrow night. Catch that. Our all new revamped content is amazing. You guys need to check it out. iOS podcast on Monday. I believe when the Coach's Corner comes out on Tuesdays, and of course the D.I.R.T is dropping tomorrow night, or tomorrow, which is Thursday. So you guys have to catch that all out. Gonna be amazing. I think predicting Tranquility, is that coming out yet, or Monday nights as well, right out of the podcast. So that's our content plan. It's actually revamped. Everyone's putting in a ton of stuff for that. It's been amazing. So you guys check that out as well. But that's all for tonight, though. We hope you all have a great night as I finish my tangent that no one wanted to listen to, but you had to anyways.
You were forced to. No choice.
You're forced to, no choice.